Hey, this is Skullgirdle, and welcome to December 23rd, Porto, Portugal. A few comments on my now 7-year-old video, an 80s goth view on the modern goth scene. So, a lot has happened in 7 years. I don't know if y'all noticed, but there was a freaking pandemic. And I actually finally, a month ago, I had COVID. I made it 3.5 years without getting that shit. And I must have gotten it in Porto because I gave it to one of the other very few people I know who hadn't had COVID yet. So you're welcome. And it lasted me 2 weeks, and I've been vaccinated, etc. But whatever. We've been through a pandemic. The scene has felt a breath of life in many places around the world. I don't know if that's true for Latin America because they don't have waves there. They just have goth. It doesn't do this like it does for the rest of us. That it just goes on, and sometimes it gets a little bit more popular, but it doesn't feel like it goes away there. Anyway, I've managed to get to Wave Gothic Treffen. I've managed to get to Absolution Fest in Florida. That one is amazing. I've managed to go to Garden of Goth Festival in Costa Rica. Since that time, there are 2 YouTube channels that specialize in music, every once in a while a different goth thing, and interviews, and that is Obscura Undead, which I did a lot of work with for a while, and Sound and Shadows. So if you're looking for goth music and you're looking for new goth music, those are the YouTube channels to go to. I'm trying to think if they have other venues. I think they probably both have websites, but they're on Facebook, Instagram. I don't care about Twitter. And I think Obscura Undead has, I don't know if they're doing Twitch yet. Twitch is another thing. If you go on Twitch, there's still a lot of DJs. A lot of DJs just got onto Twitch and did live streaming. And let me tell you something, it got us through. It really got us through. And I think that was instrumental in bringing that breath of life back to the goth scene, and so many new bands and just a lot of really wonderful things have happened. There's a lot of DJs still out there on Twitch. Just to name a few: Scary Lady Sarah, Martin Old Goth. There is Goths for Sanctuaries, which they still do events out there for animal rescue, etc. Professor Killjoy is still out there. Kale Shelter is still out there. I want to say Red Party New York is still out there. DJ Slave Zero is still out there. Probably Obscura Undead. Probably DJ Mouse is out there. And I say out there, I mean still on Twitch. I know I'm missing somebody. Whatever. You'll find them. And once you found one and you chat with people on there, you'll find more. And all the DJs that are out there. Mistress McCutcheon. Fucking love her. She's got some flow, man. She has got some flow. Anyway, you're going to find more people out there, and you can chat with more people. And once you find one channel, it leads to more channels, etc., etc., etc. And while all of those channels will play some old stuff, I think they all play something old. All those channels also play new stuff, and it might be brand fucking new. And that includes Martin Old Goth, who has the word old in his name. So he plays a wide range. I mean, last time I watched him a few weeks ago, he played something that had been released like 2 weeks before that. So they are still keeping their finger on the pulse. So if you're looking for new goth stuff, then those channels have new goth stuff. 2 channels on YouTube that everybody's heard of that are actually run by goths, whether the content is completely goth or not, are Angela Benedict, all of her content is goth, and Black Friday. Black Friday is actually fucking goth. Okay, y'all, for whatever arguments are on that channel, whatever content is on that channel, Black Friday is an active member of any goth scene she can get to, pretty much. If she can get to a goth scene or a goth concert or whatever, she's gonna do it. So there are a shitload of other goth channels out there. Oh, the one that mentioned me, Sanish. Sorry, it's spelled S-A-N-N-I-Z. And I know I pronounced it wrong, I'm so sorry. But that is a channel that mentioned my modern goth video, and I don't know if there are others. I have no idea. But that one I don't know how I caught it. And so I subscribed to that channel. I was like, okay, there we go. But there are more resources than there were 7 years ago when I haven't watched that video in a while. I'm not going to go back and watch it because I fucking hate watching videos of myself. I hate editing them, but I do it because, I don't know, you guys don't need to see me go for 3 minutes sometimes. So there are a lot of resources. There's a lot of great stuff happening. And conversely, there are some things that maybe we don't like so much, but I think that we can take advantage of them. And that is people saying, oh, I got my goth on. Just like people in the 80s used to say, oh, I punked out. I'm punked out for the weekend. No. It's a subculture. It's a subculture based on music. And to be goth, pretty much you just have to like goth music more than just the Curial. I'm sorry to disappoint. They are fantastic post-punk, but in a lot of that phase back that people are so excited about, they were considered pop. So if you're a single goth band or loved by goth bands, if you like The Cure but you hate all of their goth music, no. If you just like Susie but you hate all of their goth music, no. But I think you get what I mean. You know, if you love goth music, you love like these goth bands, and that's your favorite, and you want to support the goth scene, or you are actively supporting the goth scene, you're goth. I don't care if you look like super goth. I don't give a shit. And most goths, when you show up at the show, if people are making fun of you, a lot of times they're just the tourists that are just there thinking they're super goth because they go to their one show a year on like the day before they have a holiday on Monday or some crap like that. That's my experience from, sorry y'all, I've got my everything set up on top of a project and I can't stop touching it. But that's my opinion based on the goth scene in Dallas, because every time people had Monday off, the church would be jam-packed because their shows or parties were on Thursday and Sunday. So excuse me, when you have to drive for an hour, find parking. Well, they had a parking lot, but they moved also, etc., whatever. So, sorry, it's allergy season for me all the time. People who just say they're goth because they look goth, we've had those for years and years and years. It just kind of hit the mainstream. And while that is kind of a pain in the ass, people thinking they're super goth and listening to Typo Negative's Most Metal album, you know what I mean, thinking they're super goth listening to black metal when you listen to metal, we know that that is irritating, and I keep sliding down my chair. I'm trying to sit up, but it is what it is. At the same time as that can be kind of irritating, it gives us a chance to educate people, and you're like, well, this is actually goth, and I've been able to do that with people who, they're not goth, but, you know, just whatever. It makes it so that some things that we love and we like are more supported, and so they're easier to get to. You know, clothing. Specifically for those of us who are not tiny, skinny little people, and you don't have to be plus size to not be able to find goth clothes that fit, because a lot of times they're manufactured skinny. So let's say you wear a size XL. Sometimes in goth clothes you wear a 5X, which is ridiculous. And find a 5X, you've got that sweetheart collar shirt you see all over eBay, and like, I don't know, one skirt and a t-shirt. There are places they're like, yes, we have plus sizes, and it's one t-shirt design. And I was like, what, are you trying to con people into buying shit that doesn't fit? Anyway, so with an influx, with more people, you have more options. And that's just one option. Another thing is that it's more readily available, so there's less people giving you the stink eye. Not all the time, not everywhere. I am in Porto, Portugal, so I'm up in the north of Portugal. It's, God, such a great city. But if I look, I'll just say extremely goth, if my eyes are painted like this and my hair is big and I've just got the thing, especially when I'm wearing my pirate coat, because I have this coat that's like burgundy and black, and it has some ruffles, and it has the vest that connects in the middle. It's really cute. But especially in that coat, then yeah, I will get the side eye when I'm not at the club or whatever. That's just, that's everywhere. But it makes it a little bit more accepted, a little bit, probably in bigger cities. We all know out in the country, you know, depending on where you are, people have not seen what we look like a lot of times. But I think, I don't know, I like to see people look like that. I think it looks nice. But also, there is a tendency to be like, ooh, I can get all these things and maybe leave our artists behind. In my world, because it's all about me, because this is my channel, I find it much more satisfying to have one item that supports an artist, an artisan, a fashion designer inside the goth world, someone who makes goth jewelry, paintings, sculptures, all sorts of stuff. And yes, it can get expensive. And I would rather wear plain black clothing and have that one fancy ass Studio 777 belt that I had custom made. I would rather have fewer things in my house and have the treasured item that I got at a goth festival. I have a little plaque from one of the little baby skull heads from Hysteria Machine. That was such a fucking treasure when I got it in the US a few years ago, because getting anything from, I think, Germany to the US. So I'm a very, very big proponent of supporting artists and local whenever you can anyway. I also buy a lot of band t-shirts. I've also done a lot on Bandcamp, which Bandcamp is where a lot of our smaller artists are, and that's where they can actually make more money than SoundCloud, which barely pays. And I think SoundCloud has pulled some kind of bullshit where they don't have to pay small artists at all. What the fuck, asshole? YouTube pays really low. The views help people get seen more. So if you watch something on YouTube or you stream it on SoundCloud, it'll come up for more people. So that is helpful if that's what you've got. But you can also listen to albums. You can listen to a whole album on Bandcamp. Although after the third time they might be like, hey, you should buy it. But another thing Bandcamp does, and they're continuing it, although not for January, notice they snuck in a month where they're not doing it, is First Fridays, the first Friday of the month, all of the proceeds when you buy something on Bandcamp goes to the artist. And as you find bands, as you discover them, hopefully through Obscure Undead or Sound and Shadows or Twitch DJs, then you can find if they might have some merchandise if you want a t-shirt. And a lot of those bands will ship all over the world. That's supporting your scene. If you are broke as fuck, and we've all been there, oh my god, then you can still do the streaming. If you have interwebs, you can still listen to videos on YouTube. You can still watch people making vlogs, or like Jalen, who does cartoon, or Justin King, who has some very good commentary on what it's like to be black in the goth scene. Things like that that can relate to you. There's a lot of really great channels and content out there when you go beyond the biggest channels that may or may not be goth. Anyway, I'll probably have more commentary, and now that I have lights so that I can, I'm not wearing my glasses, y'all, because I didn't want you guys to be looking at the lights in my glasses, but now that I can be lit from both sides, so I'm not in, was it chiaroscuro, Tintoretto style lighting. One of my lights just died. Yep, see how I just got dark there? So it's time to end the video. So hey, thanks for watching. Until next time.